Congressman Bob Good joins us. Congressman, can you hear me?
Yep, there you are. Great to be with you.
All right, so you just got off the floor of the House. Where do things stand, and how do you think this ends?
Well, I think it's going to be close, but I think we're going to pass this historic budgetary reform, historic spending cuts, historic fiscal reforms out of the House. We'll send it to the Senate and for the White House to take action. We'll show the American people that Republicans in the House can do our job to raise the debt ceiling in a responsible way, but to do that in a way that, again, cuts spending by about $1 trillion in the immediacy and has about $5 trillion worth of spending cuts over time. And this is just our first bite at the apple. We've changed the narrative. It's not if we're cutting, but how much we're cutting. And it's not, whether or not Republicans will do the right thing. It's just how we're going to do it, what the best strategy is to put us on a path to fiscal responsibility. And today's a big step.
I hear you talk about show the American public and narrative, and that's all good, I guess, for politics and parlor games here in Washington. But there's got to be a result, right? Like, this is dead on arrival in the Senate and in the White House. Help me. What happens? What happens next?
I don't think so, because look at what we're doing here. We're cutting non-defense discretionary spending back to pre-COVID levels. What American wouldn't think that we ought to go to pre-COVID spending before the emergency ramped up spending to record levels? We're rescinding the student loan transfer scheme, where we're not making hardworking blue-collar Americans pay for other people's student loans. We're rescinding the expansion of the IRS, which almost no American says, hey, we need more IRS agents. We're cutting the harmful, wasteful hundreds of billions of dollars in climate environmentalism policies that are in the Inflation Increase Act. We're reining in the regulatory state with the REINS Act, which would require a vote of Congress for every meaningful, large rule or regulation that comes out of the bureaucratic state. Most Americans want their elected representatives to make those decisions. We're returning to American energy independence again, reigniting affordable, reliable energy. Those are policies that most Americans agree with. Democrats will have a hard time defending votes against those. But more importantly, it's in a responsible way that increases the debt ceiling in modest by Washington standards with $1.5 trillion. It, again, is just one step. I don't think it's a cause for celebration, but it's a cause to be encouraged that members of Congress are doing something historic. We haven't had meaningful spending reforms like this and cuts in decades.
And just to put a ribbon on this real quick, live pictures, left side of your screen. Actually, put that up real quick if you can, because the bill just passed. I think you hear the gavel there. It now really sets off negotiations between Republicans and Democrats in the White House. Congressman Good, thank you very much for joining us today, coming from the House floor. We know it's been a busy day. Congressman Bob Good, thank you. We'll see you again.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Thanks for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.